Angel number 666. What you need to know to release the stigmas around this number so you can see the messages, see the guides, and really embrace this energy. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell so that you're always notified whenever we make a new video. So Dr. Jane, this number, it's like, for a lot of
I
people.
know this is a weird number for me because I was taught growing up that 666 was the sign of the devil. So we were in my culture and my religious background, my faith upbringing, it was supposed to invoke fear. And now, because I've grown and have more knowledge about this, now it's actually, I don't want to say empowering, but it's it makes me really tap into my intuition when I see it. And I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I don't assign other people's meanings to it. I would just really encourage anyone, if you have been taught this is the sign of the devil, can we just put a pin in that thought for just a second? And then let's dive into some other meanings, because numbers, things have meaning when you assign meaning to them.
Yeah.
So if I've told you, I'm just going to grab something. This is actually a stapler, actually. Anyway, so if I've told you that this is the symbol of prosperity and abundance, and you need to keep it in your room, and you actually assign it that meaning, then subconsciously you are going to believe that this stapleless stapler means abundance to you. So you're going to have abundance top of mind all the time. Whereas to me, I think, oh, it's just a green, go green stapler. It just punches the paper and turns it into its own staple. So, it doesn't necessarily mean abundance to me, other than conservation, being responsible, not using little pieces of metal to hold my paper together. So anything you assign meaning to, it's going to have that meaning. And if you believe it, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and everybody has their own ideas, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But just kind of sidetrack for a second, even numbers like the number 13, a lot of times we've had really negative ideas behind it. And yet you can also have the idea that's a very feminine number because there's 13 full moons in the year. So it really is about whatever you think it is.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to 13. My whole life, I've loved the number 13. Just was always drawn to it. And it kind of felt magical and mysterious and didn't feel, there was no fear attached to it, even though that's what the superstition says. Oh, 13. Even some buildings don't have a 13th floor, which is.
But they do.
I lived in a building with 13 floors, and the top floor was 14.
They just skip. They skip the number.
They skipped the number in the elevator. So that's how deep this goes. Elevator companies, builders, architects, will skip the number 13. So anyway, it is what it is. If you believe it means something, then that's how you're going to live with it. So 666 to me means that there's a deeper perspective that you can take at that time. And if somebody really wants to see just kind of a basic guide for all of the triple numbers, check the video description, because we have a link to our numbers guide that you can download for free.
Yeah, and so I think 666, when I see that, it's asking me to really just re-examine what's going on, become the observer so that I can kind of really feel into what's right for me and start to make a shift in frequency, start to raise my vibrations so that I can experience more positivity. Sometimes I also see it if I have a lot of negative thoughts going on, and it's just asking me to shift my perspective.
Yeah, and seek that deeper wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that a lot of people, when we're going fast, when we do assign meaning to things, and then our subconscious has the message, okay, this means abundance. Okay, fantastic. We got the message. We don't have to think about the meaning of it again. You keep going with this meaning, and it's either inaccurate, outside of your understanding, off base, or it is actually holding you back. So when people do have an inappropriate or inaccurate impression of something, they're actually blocking themselves from growing in the deeper meaning.
Yeah, no. And it's like you just get stuck in that fear and then you just kind of put your blinders on. So then you're not even trying to grow or develop in any way. But that's really what this number is about.
Right. It's growth and development. So through some of my deeper studies into numerology, numbers, why different societies assign meanings to different numbers, I learned something very interesting. So I've said before, and I think you have as well, that we both come from our families of origin were raised their children in a Catholic environment. Nothing against the Catholic Church. Most of my family is still Catholic, and I love them and believe that, nothing against the Catholic Church. However, my very, very hard-nosed parents taught me, that number was evil. And so I really wanted to research the more energetically in tune I started to become with myself and the universe and how we interact with each other and how we're part of everything. I really dove in and started studying these things. And I wanted to know why this number was assigned this meaning, why, when, where.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So just like 13, why all of a sudden did 13 get some sort of a negative stigma? And what I learned, and this may not be the only reason, but what I learned through my research is that 666 specifically is a very feminine energy. It's a high goddess number. And indigenously, years ago, centuries ago, people recognized these numbers and it would help guide them in their decisions. But as religion organized, a lot of the intuitive methodologies that people would use needed to be dispelled in some way, because the thing that gives organized religion its power is the constituency, the congregation's belief that the organization itself holds the power.
Yep.
And so certain numbers that are signs to dig in deeper, take a pause, connect with your superconscious for connection, seek those answers. That's very empowering, because that means I can allow to do that. And I don't need an outside influence to perform it on my behalf. Do it for me, do it with me, give me permission to do it. And so a lot of these numbers that have negative stigmas, the stigmas were developed by people who didn't want to have the people empowered and wanted instead to create a holding tank for the power that the people had to go to.
Yeah, they wanted more control. And that's what a lot of these numbers and a lot of these ideas have been based around. And it's really interesting, but it's also interesting that a lot of us are starting to wake up and go, I can be empowered. I can create my own life that I want to see. And we're starting to find things like these numbers or certain other things that we're like, oh, well, that's not right. Like, what do I believe? So, yeah.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So, for anybody watching, open up the comments and tell us, what does this number mean to you? Have you ever been taught that it has a negative stigma? What are your thoughts about it now? If you have any, I don't know, I guess mental blocks against accepting it, what are those? Can we help you through them? Do you need a deeper conversation about this to really learn more? So, put that in the comments. We'll come back and check on my promise.
Yeah, let us know what questions you have about this number or how we can take it deeper for you to have a better understanding. And also don't be afraid to just sit and meditate on what your intuition is telling you.
Absolutely. Now, so the big question that I always have about numbers. So I see a lot of posts, people say, they'll see a number pattern in the time on their phone or the balance of their bank account or whatever, and they'll take a screen capture of it and they'll post it and they'll be like, abundance is here or whatever. Okay, so if somebody's seeing this pattern, I'm always interested in action items. I want practical application steps for what to do when whatever happens. So what to do when you see the number 6, 666, 666, more than that in a row. What is the action item? Is it to pause?
I think for me, whenever I've seen that number, it's to breathe and pause again, like just breathe and pause and be like, what is going on mentally? Another action step you can take when you see this number is to just immediately shift into a gratitude mindset. So make a gratitude list because that's instantly going to raise your vibration. So both of those things I think would be a good way to just start that process of re-examining.
Yeah, a gratitude list is perfect in just about any situation.
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Pixie, thank you so much for walking us through this. And thank all of you for watching. If you have enjoyed this, if you've learned something, give us that thumbs up. And again, do hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber and that little bell so that you'll know the next time that we drop a video to help you live a more connected, magical, fulfilled, and happy life.
Bye.